Hello and welcome everybody. Phil Nichols, Chris Evans coming to you. Special segment here as we have some news in Guthrie.
There is news.
We'll definitely talk about that here in a little bit as the city manager, Leroy, also has announced his resignation. But first, we have some beautiful.
Yeah, we got sponsors of today's show. Mosquito Authority, proud owners by Sarah, 51%er, and Ronnie Phillips, a new business in town. Encourage you to give them a shout, and they're on social media and find out how they can help you. Got some pretty cool systems and processes that I think can definitely keep your family more comfortable and safer.
Absolutely. Outdoors time is coming. The weather's getting nice, so I know a lot of people are wanting to get ready to be mosquito free as you enjoy the outdoors.
Flies, all kinds of pests.
Mosquito Authority. Give them a shout, follow them on Facebook and all that good stuff. But city council meeting Tuesday, March 5th. Leroy Alsup, during his city manager's report, informed the city council that he's retiring.
He's retiring.
After 43 years.
Jeez.
Actually, it would probably be 44. His effective date, April 28, 2023. And we'll talk about how cold that is. But Leroy Alsup, the city manager, and Phil, before Leroy came, before we get into really bragging, Guthrie City Managers, we've had some really bright young people come in. Yeah. And from what I've learned in the city manager world, you stay for at least 2 years making your impression, and then your next employer sees what you did in 2 years, and that's what makes them where they should hire to a bigger job. And it's been a great deal. But in 2016, early 2017, the Guthrie City Council went with a little bit more experienced person in Leroy Alsup, and I think it's one of the best decisions Guthrie City Council has made in a long, long time.
Yeah, he brought a lot of wisdom and just know-how to the job, and I think he's done a really great job of bringing the city staff together, getting folks to work together, focus on some big picture stuff for the community while taking care of a lot of things. I know there's folks out there that think that Guthrie has all this money to take care of all these things, but it's not the case. Like many towns our size, there's struggles, right? And Leroy's done a wonderful job of leading his staff and being a great advocate with the city council. I think he's worked wonderfully well with the city council. But you and I have talked about this. I think we've been very blessed. We've got a very good city council right now too. Mm-hmm. So hardworking people doing good things. Leroy was the head of the snake, if you would, and he was the one that was really able to bring everybody together and get a lot of really cool things accomplished in Guthrie in a fairly short period of time. We're going to miss him as city manager. We got him for another year.
Yep.
But we're going to miss him when that year clicks off.
Leroy came on board February 6, 2017, and he had to come in immediately and take over a budget that was kind of a little bit out of whack.
In shambles.
A little bit out of whack. And he had to make some tough decisions early on, had to let some people go, had to cut down some departments, but and he'll give full credit to the Guthrie community, Guthrie businesses, to really rally. Even during the tough times like COVID, we still stayed above our head. But he stabilized the budget. That's one of the things I'll remember, Leroy. There's a bunch of things, but the way he had to make those cuts, had to let people go, but he had a plan, and now the season in a great financial spot. Can it be better? Well, of course it can be better. But one of the big things is all the city employees make a minimum of $15.
That's a big deal.
And that has gone a long way to hopefully recruiting more people for the city, because they're always looking for more people in their field. But he's done a lot of great stuff.
Well, you can always tell, I think, what kind of leader you have in any organization based on the attitudes and the morale of the employees.
Yes, the staff.
And the staff. And, you know, whether it's Tenny or it's Shonda or it's Justin or it's anybody.
Eric,
I mean, all of them, all the great folks out there. I mean, it's, you know, I've always said that in small towns, it works its way through three groups: city, county, and school. Yeah. Those are the three that always seem to have some type of bullseye on their head. Yeah. You know, and they take turns with everybody focused on them. And I think, you know, for the most part, without any big thing occurring, since Leroy's been here, he's brought a lot of stability and just great leadership to the position.
And the grant money,
Yeah,
all the
it's
grants,
big.
Leroy has brought people on into the city who didn't have a lot of experience in grant writing and going out with grants, and I think that's one of the things that he'll leave behind is, Shonda and Eric, just to name a few, to be able to, Dan,
Yeah.
with planning,
Dan,
to
Billy,
write,
Darby.
to write grants and to see how it does. I know he helps them with it, but that's something that they have learned, and, we've gotten grants for sports complex, the parks have gotten grants, and the cool thing about Leroy is he's shot big.
Big.
For big projects, some of them have come through, some of them haven't, some are still in the works. He's great at looking at federal grants for the water lines and all that good stuff. So,
Well, and it's no 100% of the times you don't ask for a yes, right?
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to ask.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard me say this to your boys. You've heard me say it to all of my boys. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Right.
And you've got to be willing to put yourself out there, and I think he's done a great job. And the other thing that I would say that I've always admired about Leroy is Tenny Maker. We all know how hard Tenny works and his staff.
Public
it's
Works.
Unbelievable, Public Works. They do a tremendous job, but there's been days where Tenny's been out and worked 14 hours a day, then because he farms and then he's on a tractor. I always like the fact that Leroy would take the time on social media or in public to recognize that. And it's not just Tenny. Tenny's the one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there that give so much that are city employees that everybody doesn't do that. Everybody doesn't take the time to acknowledge what they do. And he wasn't just acknowledging his work at the city. He was acknowledging just who he is as a man.
Yeah.
And I think and it's sincere. It's not some premeditated thing.
It is.
It's really sincere. And I think that's why so many of us respect Leroy so much, because he treats people appropriately. He's not afraid to, he can be tough, which I think is awesome. I think all great leaders can be tough, but he's fair, and he acknowledges people as quickly as anybody I've seen, to give them, just compliments and accolades for the things that they're doing, and I think that's important.
And the other aspect that I like about Leroy is he lets his staff do their job.
Yeah.
Like the fire chief, the police chief, public works, the librarian. He lets them overlook their department and give them that responsibility to better themselves and their department.
Again, a sign of a good leader. Somebody that's insecure wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
And I think, that speaks a lot to those 43 years. By the time he hangs it up, 44 years of doing this kind of work, there's not too much that he hasn't seen or done or been a part of. And so he has this treasure trove of experience that he can pull from. And so he's going to be missed as city manager. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
He's going to be missed.
Been from government since municipal government since 1979. Roughly 30 of those in a management position.
Yeah.
He's had stints throughout Oklahoma and Kansas. But he said the past 5 years I've lived and worked in Guthrie have been incredible. Some of the highlights for me over the last few years have been to serve a very community-minded and spirit governing body, to enhance the city's financial and administrative stability for the future. That's what we talked about earlier. To work with and mentor some of the finest public employees that I've ever experienced. We talked about that.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've looked at it, so we've already hit on a bunch of these here. Funding and implementing a wide variety of place-making projects that will attract young families and young professionals to our community for many years to come. Talked about those grants with Highland Park and Mineral Wells Park and the sports complex.
Yeah.
Those splash pads.
Splash pads, just
Young family stuff.
Working in conjunction to get the sidewalks put in. Just with the state, just doing. We were at an event this morning with Meridian, and they Doug talked about how much he enjoyed working with the staff of the city of Guthrie, because they were so helpful and professional, and just have this mindset of let's work together to make our community better. And that's those, they don't come around very often.
Yeah.
People that can do that.
The last thing you put on there, development of lifelong friends throughout the community. And I'm definitely a friend. Learned through, soft business, but as we became to know each other, Leroy he's embarrassing. I mean, we've asked him to come on and talk to us. He won't do it. And I'm sure, but he has said he still wants to live in Guthrie. He doesn't know what the next step is, and there's still time for him.
He'll have a lot of options.
Yeah. So, but he definitely a lot of lifelong friends. I'm glad he's staying in Guthrie so he can come eat lunch every now and then with us.
When you look at the people that he's mentored, like I was scared to death we were going to lose Justin and Amanda. When Justin's, job, had a job change of no fault of his own.
Nope.
And, he's out looking. I'm like, man, they're going to move. Man, Leroy was smart enough to say, okay, that guy's an asset to our community. He's got all this talent. Justin's one of the most talented guys you'll find.
Yeah.
He's my second favorite hippie in the whole world behind my son.
Behind
Jake.
your son now, yeah.
But he's and he recognized that, and he went and got them to stay. I think if he did nothing else but that, the impact on our community is so significant because his ability to recognize talent and say, we want to keep them here. We want to keep them plugged into our community. And there's a lot of examples of that. Shonda, when she came here, I think she would tell you, young, didn't know a whole lot of it. I mean, and under his mentorship,
her role's kind of reversed a little bit to a different deal, and she's doing a great job.
But again, she loves the community. She's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet.
Lives downtown, has a family.
Yes, just everything, and none of that happens if you don't have good leadership.
Yeah.
Because people will just leave. They'll just go other places. Young people have options. I mean, they have options. These young, talented people can go anywhere. So the fact that through his leadership, we're able to keep those kind of folks, grow them. Now they're so ingrained in the community. I mean, Shonda's husband has his own business. There's just a lot of cool things that come out of that. So it's not always just the stuff you see at city council meetings. It's the human element of things that really makes an impact on a community, and getting those folks in our community and getting them to stay in our community. It's big.
The other cool thing in here, Leroy says, with the amount of advance notice that I'm providing, again, this is effective April 28, 2023, just a little over a year from now. With the amount of advance notice that I'm providing, I'm hopeful that it gives you ample time to develop an orderly transition plan for the future. And it gives the council a year to get ready for this step.
To do it right.
And, going out, I think he has 2 years left on his contract. Very rarely in city government, especially Guthrie, it's a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
Show you how good this guy is. They gave him a 3-year contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
And well deserved. But I thought it was a great gesture for them to give him a year. Now they might hire someone in 3 months to go underneath him, which would be great.
Yeah, would be.
But or start training or whatever.
However it works.
However they work. But in a year advance, what a great job.
Well, not too many people would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it for the right reasons. I pray that we keep him right here. I don't want to see him and his bride leave the city of Guthrie. He's part of Guthrie, and he's one of us, whether he wants to be or not. But this is a job well done, Leroy. We're proud of you, and congratulations on your soon-to-be some type of retirement.
Yeah. You still got an hour or a year to.
Yeah, and he's talked to me before. I mean, I know this will come as a shock to you, but sometimes I can get emotional about things.
Is that the word you use, emotional?
Well, passion, emotion, yeah. But Leroy's came to me. I'm a 55-year-old man, has come to me and in a very caring way talked to me and said, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
And so I think he's touched a lot of people, whether you're an employee of the city or not. He in a relatively short period of time, 6 years? Mm-hmm. He's impacted a lot of people. I know he's really impacted yours.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
you talked about.
Yeah. 6 years in Guthrie is a long time. I'm telling you, I have a very geeky moment. I have a chart a spreadsheet at the house that goes through every city council that we've had since the 70s and every city manager since the 90s. And my formula is not by years, it's by months.
Yeah.
And so he is the longest tenure city manager. Even if he quit right now and went to Jamaica for the rest of life, he would be the longest tenure city manager in Guthrie history.
It's crazy. And we've had some good ones, like you said, in the past, but usually here for a couple years and gone.
Yeah, Glenn Hayes is the second longest.
Yeah, Glenn.
Who lives in Guthrie.
Yeah,
so that
Glenn's a
explains
Guthrie guy. Yeah, I mean, there was a stretch there, though, as you recall. I think we had like 3 city managers in like 10 months.
That doesn't count interim city managers.
No, it was just nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy. But, we've had some great ones in the past. I'd put Leroy right at the top of the list. I think he's done a fabulous job.
Absolutely. Leroy, we still got a year with you. So,
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here, but thank you again, Leroy, and we got you at least for another 12 months.
Yeah, I'll have to buy him breakfast now. For
There you go. Yeah. All right. We've embarrassed him enough. And by the way,
yeah, he hates his stuff.
He hates his stuff.
And he doesn't know we're doing this,
No.
so we're probably in trouble now that I think about it.
That's why we're recording it and not doing it live, because I'd be getting a phone call and say, hey,
Shut her down.
Shut it off. Absolutely. All right. Right here again, Mosquito Authority, sponsor of this show. Check them out on Facebook and all those great platforms out there. Phil Nichols, Chris Evans. Thanks for watching.